The archive chamber lay buried beneath 12 kilometers of alloy and stone, older than the city above it, and older still than the empire that claimed the world. No banners marked its entrance. No guards stood watch. It did not need them. Commander Aaron Vale descended alone. The lift stopped with a muted hiss. Pale light spilled across concentric rings of black metal and crystalline pylons humming with restrained power. In the center of the chamber rose a monolith of matte obsidian, veined with faint blue currents that pulsed like a sleeping heart. Access code? The chamber intoned. Aaron Vale. Clearance Sigma Prime. Override authority from the Strategic Council. There was a pause long enough to feel deliberate. Authorization accepted. The monolith fractured into 1,000 thin planes, rotating, reassembling into a sphere of shifting symbols. The air grew colder. Erin removed her gloves and pressed her palm against the surface. Static rippled up her arm. Begin playback of the first contact archive. Human origin file. Above her, light condensed into a projection, a spiral arm of a galaxy, highlighted systems blinking red, then going dark one by one. The chamber's voice shifted, older, layered with echoes. Entry recorded 8,412 standard cycles ago. Subject designation, Homo sapiens. Self-identifier, human. Erin's jaw tightened. She had read summaries, fragments buried in restricted reports. Nothing complete. Nothing raw. The projection zoomed toward a yellow star. Initial encounter occurred at the periphery of contested space. The archive continued. Species exhibited primitive warp capability, fragmented governance, and internal conflict. A flicker of ships appeared, angular, scarred hulls patched with mismatched alloys. They were small compared to modern cruisers, but they moved with startling aggression, weaving between larger alien vessels, deploying missiles and spirals of fire. They fought like cornered animals, the voice said. Not for conquest. For survival. Aaron exhaled slowly. Why was the warning sealed? Because it was ignored. The chamber brightened. New images filled the air, towering insected dreadnoughts, sleek avian carriers, crystalline entities spanning kilometers. The galactic powers of that era. They assessed humans as expendable. The archive continued. Designation, resource-rich, technologically inferior, politically divided. Recommendation, subjugation. The projection shifted to a council chamber. Alien forms gathered in a vast amphitheater of light. At the center stood a single human envoy in a dark uniform, shoulders squared. Audio crackled to life. We do not seek war, the envoy said, voice steady. But if you force it upon us, understand this, we will not stop. We will not yield. And we will not forget. Laughter rippled through the chamber. Clicking, trilling, harmonic vibrations. The recording froze. Within 20 cycles, the archive resumed. 3 dominant powers attempted annexation of human territories. Aaron watched as human colonies burned under orbital bombardment. Cities dissolved into molten glass. Fleets shattered. Then the perspective changed. Human vessels returned, larger, faster, bearing weapons that bent space-time into blades. Swarms of autonomous drones erupted from carriers like metallic storms. Planetary shields collapsed under synchronized strikes. Enemy homeworlds flickered out, not destroyed outright, but rendered uninhabitable through precision strikes on infrastructure and biospheres. They adapted, the archive said, at a rate unprecedented in recorded galactic history. Aaron's fingers curled. They escalated. They survived. The projection displayed casualty figures, alien losses staggering into the trillions. Entire species reduced to scattered remnants. Not exterminated, but broken beyond recovery as major powers. Humans employed a doctrine they termed total commitment, the voice explained. Once engaged existentially, they redirected all economic, cultural, and technological resources toward conflict. Images flashed, factories converting overnight to shipyards, civilian transports refitted as warships, scientists abandoning peacetime research for weapons development. They weaponized ingenuity. The archive continued. And memory. Aaron stepped back as the sphere dimmed. Why seal this? Because the current Dominion mirrors the ancient coalition. The word hung in the air. The Dominion, her empire, had expanded relentlessly for 2 centuries. Systems annexed under the guise of stability. Species absorbed or marginalized. Resistance crushed. And now, scouts had reported a border skirmish in a neglected sector. A minor species defending a barren world. Humans. They were presumed extinct, Aaron said quietly. Incorrect, the archive replied. They withdrew. The projection shifted again. After the war, human fleets retreated beyond mapped space. No treaty signed. No formal surrender demanded. They simply vanished, leaving behind devastated empires and a warning encoded into the galactic record. A final recording played. The same human envoy, older now, scar across his cheek. We warned you, he said, looking directly into the lens. If you push us to the edge, we will push back harder. Leave us in peace, and we will build wonders beside you. Threaten our existence, and we will end yours. The image dissolved. Silence filled the chamber. Aaron felt the weight of it settle into her bones. The Dominion's high strategist, Voreth Kane, had dismissed the border reports as trivial. Primitive raiders, he had called them. A useful demonstration target. She activated her wrist calm. Strategic command. Voreth's voice answered, smooth and dismissive. Commander Vale. Have you finished entertaining yourself with relics? They're not relics, she said. They're a warning. A faint chuckle. About a species that hasn't been seen in millennia? They withdrew to regroup. We're provoking them. Provoking? Voreth's tone sharpened. We are enforcing order. Their outpost attacked a patrol vessel. They defended their territory. A pause. Commander, Boris said, voice cooling. Your role is to execute policy, not question it. Aaron stared at the darkened projection of the human envoy. If we escalate, we risk igniting something we cannot contain. You overestimate them. That's what the last coalition said. Silence stretched between them. Stand down, Voreth ordered. The 7th Armada will proceed with planetary pacification at first light. The channel closed. Aaron remained in the chamber, the hum of ancient machinery vibrating through the floor. She replayed the casualty projections in her mind. Entire civilizations erased from prominence because they had mistaken resilience for weakness. Archive, she said softly. Probability of Dominion victory in full-scale war against the unified human civilization? The sphere flared. Based on historical adaptation rates, industrial scalability, and psychological profiling, 12%. Her breath caught. And probability if humans perceive the conflict as existential? 4%. Aaron laughed once, sharp and humorless. Above her, beyond layers of rock and metal, the Dominion fleet prepared to strike a frontier world. She placed her hand against the monolith again. Transmit the full archive to my flagship. Priority encryption. Transmission initiated. She turned toward the lift. If Voreth would not listen, she would find another way. A warning ignored once had nearly reshaped the galaxy. Ignored again, it could end it. As the lift descended, Aaron felt a tremor through the structure, a distant vibration from orbital engines igniting. The Dominion had already begun its demonstration. Somewhere beyond the frontier, in the darkness where humans had vanished, sensors would detect the surge of power. They would analyze, calculate, decide. And if the ancient envoy's words still held true, they would remember. This time, the galaxy might not survive their answer. The war did not begin with a declaration. It began with silence. Commander Aaron Vale stood on the bridge of the Resolute, watching the tactical display fracture into uncertainty. The Dominion's 7th Armada had entered the frontier system 6 hours earlier, overwhelming the lone human outpost with predictable efficiency. Orbital defenses were neutralized within minutes. Surface installations followed soon after. Reports described minimal resistance, scattered fire, and rapid collapse. Then the transmission stopped. Not disrupted. Not jammed. Erased. Status, Aaron said, her voice carrying across the bridge. Lieutenant Soren glanced up from his console, his expression tightening. We've lost all contact with the 7th Armada. No distress calls. No residual signals. Just nothing. Sensor sweep? Empty, he replied. No debris field. No energy signatures. It's like the entire fleet vanished. Aaron's gaze fixed on the system map. Dozens of capital ships, escorts, carriers, gone without a trace. The probability curve from the archive flickered through her mind. 4%. Run deep spectrum scans, she ordered. Gravitational anomalies, subspace distortions, anything outside standard parameters. Soren hesitated. Commander, we're already running them. There's something. It's faint. Show me. The display shifted. A thin filament of distortion appeared at the edge of the system, barely detectable, like a scar across space-time. It's moving, Soren said. Slowly, but consistently. Trajectory suggests it entered the system before the Armada. Aaron leaned forward. Before? Yes, Commander. They were already here, she murmured. The bridge fell quiet. Magnify, she said. The distortion expanded, revealing a cluster of irregular signatures, cold, dark shapes that defied conventional sensor profiles. They absorbed energy instead of reflecting it, appearing as voids against the backdrop of stars. Count? Aaron asked. Uncertain, Soren said. Our systems can't lock onto them properly. At least 30. Possibly more. Configuration? No recognizable formation. They're distributed. Like a net. Aaron felt a chill settle in her chest. They let the Armada advance. Then they closed the trap. Before anyone could respond, a sharp tone cut through the bridge. Incoming transmission, the communications officer announced. Origin unknown. It's not using Dominion protocols. Patch it through. The main display flickered. Static resolved into an image, a human face, lined with age, eyes sharp and unyielding. Behind him, dim light revealed a command center unlike anything in the Dominion. Interfaces projected in midair, operators moving with quiet precision, no wasted motion. This is Commander Elias Rook of the Terran Defense Coalition, the man said. His voice was calm, measured. Identify yourselves. Aaron stepped forward. Commander Aaron Vale, Dominion Strategic Command. We're here to de-escalate. Rook studied her for a moment. You arrived late for that. Aaron held his gaze. What happened to the 7th Armada? They're contained, Rook said. Their crews are alive. Relief flickered across the bridge, quickly replaced by tension. Contained where? Aaron pressed. In a place where they can't harm anyone, he replied. That's all you need to know. Aaron's mind raced. No debris, no energy spikes, entire fleets removed intact. This wasn't destruction. It was precision on a scale the Dominion had never encountered. You anticipated our attack, she said. Rook's expression hardened. We anticipated your pattern. Expansion, assimilation, enforcement. It's familiar. Aaron swallowed. We didn't know. You did, he cut in. The warnings were recorded. Preserved. Ignored. The bridge remained silent, every officer listening. Aaron took a breath. I accessed the archive. I know what your species is capable of. That's why I'm here. Rook's eyes narrowed slightly. Then you understand the position you've put us in. I'm trying to prevent escalation, she said. The Dominion can stand down. Can it? Rook asked quietly. Or will it send another fleet? And another until we're forced to respond in kind? Aaron hesitated. Rook nodded, as if confirming his own conclusion. That's the problem. The transmission flickered briefly, then stabilized. We don't want war, he continued. We never did. But we've learned something about the galaxy. When a power decides you're expendable, Negotiation becomes a delay tactic. So we prepare. Aaron glanced at the distortion field on the display. Those ships, they're yours? They're part of our defensive grid, Brooke said. We don't project power outward anymore. We build barriers. You call that a barrier? Soren muttered under his breath. Rook's gaze shifted, as if he had heard. It's not just ships. It's infrastructure. Networks. Systems layered over centuries. Aaron stepped closer to the display. You're not just defending this system. No, Brooke said. We're defending all of them. The implication settled over the bridge like a shadow. How many systems? Aaron asked. Rook didn't answer directly. Enough. A warning tone interrupted the conversation. Commander, Soren said, voice tight. We're detecting new signatures. Multiple jump points opening beyond the outer rim. Aaron turned. The display lit up with dozens of emerging distortions, each one identical to the first. They're expanding the net, Soren said. Surrounding the system. Rook watched her reaction. We're securing the perimeter. Your presence complicates that. Aaron's pulse quickened. We're not here to engage. You're here in a warship, Rook replied. We came to talk, she insisted. And your fleet? He asked. Aaron hesitated again. The Resolute was not alone. Behind her, at a safe distance, the third expeditionary group waited, 20 ships, ready to reinforce or retaliate. They'll hold position, she said. For how long? Rook asked. Aaron didn't answer. Rook exhaled slowly. This is how it starts. Miscalculation. Assumption. Fear. He leaned slightly forward, his voice lowering. We learned from the last war. We don't strike first anymore. But we don't absorb the first blow either. Aaron met his gaze. Then help me stop this before it goes further. Rook studied her, searching for something. You're asking me to trust a system that already chose aggression. I'm asking you to give me time, she said. Let me reach the council. And if they refuse? He asked. Aaron's throat tightened. Then I'll do what I can. Rook considered her words. For a moment, the tension seemed to ease. Then the bridge lights dimmed. Commander, Soren said, his voice sharp. Massive energy surge detected. Origin unknown. The display shifted again. At the center of the system, space itself began to bend, a sphere of distortion expanding rapidly, swallowing starlight. What is that? Aaron demanded. Rook's expression changed, calm replaced by something colder. That, he said, is why we warned you. The sphere grew, its surface rippling like liquid darkness. Sensor readings spiked beyond measurable limits. It's not one of ours, Soren said. We've never seen anything like it. Aaron turned back to Rook. Is it a weapon? Rook's jaw tightened. It's a response. To what? She asked. To your fleet, he said. And to the ones that will follow. Aaron's stomach dropped. You're escalating. We're containing, Rook replied. There's a difference. The sphere reached critical mass, then collapsed inward, releasing a pulse that rippled across the system. Every display flickered. Every system stuttered. When the light stabilized, the distortion was gone. So were the stars behind it. A region of space, thousands of kilometers wide, had simply ceased to exist. Silence filled the bridge. Report, Aaron said, her voice barely steady. Soren stared at his console. The area is empty. No matter. No radiation. Nothing. Aaron looked back at Rook. This is your definition of containment? Rook held her gaze. This is our definition of survival. The transmission cut. Aaron stood frozen, the void lingering on the display. If this was the beginning, the archive had been right. The galaxy had not learned. And this time, humanity had prepared for something far worse than war. The void did not fade. It lingered on every display aboard the Resolute, a wound carved into reality that no sensor could measure and no model could explain. Where stars had once burned, there was nothing, no radiation, no debris, no trace that matter had ever existed. It was absence made visible. Commander Erin Vale forced herself to look away. "Status of the fleet," she said. Lieutenant Soren's fingers moved quickly, pulling fragmented data from crippled systems. "Navigation is recalibrating. Several subsystems experienced temporary failure after the pulse. We've stabilized, but long-range sensors are unreliable. Communications? Intermittent. The 3rd Expeditionary Group is responding, but signal degradation is severe." Erin nodded once. "Patch them through." The display shifted. Admiral Corinne's image appeared, his expression sharp, irritation barely concealed. "Commander Vale," he said, "explain why my fleet just lost half its sensor capacity." Erin met his gaze. "We've encountered human defenses. They've deployed technology capable of what?" Corinne snapped. "Erasing space itself?" Erin didn't answer immediately. Corinne leaned forward. "I've received fragments of your transmission with the human commander. You're treating them like equals." "They're not a minor species," Erin said. "They're a strategic threat beyond anything we've faced." "They're an obstacle," Corinne corrected. "And obstacles are removed." Erin felt the tension rise. "The 7th Armada is gone." "Contained," Corinne said dismissively. "Your human contact admitted as much." "You think that's better?" Erin asked. "They neutralized an entire fleet without firing a conventional shot. They're holding thousands of our personnel hostage in a system we can't even map." Corinne's expression hardened. "Then we retrieve them." "With what?" Erin demanded. "We don't understand their technology. We don't know their limits. Every move we make pushes them further." Corinne's eyes narrowed. "You're hesitating." "I'm thinking," she said. "And while you think," he replied, "they fortify." Erin stepped closer to the display. "If we escalate, we trigger a full response. You saw what they can do." "I saw a demonstration," Corinne said. "A controlled one." Erin shook her head. "No. That was restraint." The Admiral paused, studying her. "You're letting fear cloud your judgment. And you're ignoring evidence," she shot back. "They're not trying to destroy us. They're trying to stop us." "By erasing sections of space?" Corinne asked. "By containing the threat," she said. "We're the threat." Silence stretched. Corinne's voice dropped, colder now. "Careful, Commander. That sounds dangerously close to dissent." Erin didn't flinch. "It sounds like survival." The channel flickered, then stabilized again. "High Command has issued new directives," Corinne said. "All forces are to advance into the system. We will establish dominance before the humans can reinforce." Erin felt the weight of the words settle. "You're sending more ships into a trap. We're sending enough to break it." "They want you to do that," she said. "They're drawing us in." Corinne's gaze hardened. "That's enough. You will coordinate with the fleet and prepare for engagement." "That is an order." The transmission ended. Erin stood still for a moment, the hum of the bridge pressing in around her. "They're not going to stop," Soren said quietly. "No," Erin replied. "They won't." She turned back to the void on the display. It felt like a message carved into the fabric of the system. A warning, not a weapon. "They're still holding back," she said. Soren glanced at her. "After that?" "That was controlled," Erin said. "Targeted. They removed a region of space, not the entire system. If they wanted to destroy us, they would have." "Then why don't they?" Soren asked. "Because they don't want a war," she said. "Not yet." A new alert chimed. "Commander," the communications officer said, "we're receiving another transmission." "Same origin." Erin nodded. "Put it through." Elias Rook reappeared, his expression unchanged, though the tension behind his eyes had deepened. "You've seen the result?" he said. "I have," Aaron replied. And I understand the message. Do you? Rook asked. My fleet doesn't, she said. They're moving to engage. Rook's gaze shifted slightly, as if tracking something beyond the camera. We're aware. Then you know what happens next, Aaron said. Yes, he replied. We do. Aaron took a step forward. It doesn't have to go that way. Rook studied her. You don't control your fleet. No, she admitted. But I can influence it. How? He asked. By buying time, she said. By proving that escalation isn't necessary. Rook's expression remained unreadable. And if you fail? Aaron held his gaze. Then you'll do what you have to. A faint pause followed. You're asking for trust, Rook said. From a species your empire just attacked. I'm asking for a chance, she replied. Nothing more. Rook leaned back slightly, considering. We've given chances before. And you paid for it, Aaron said. I've seen the archive. His eyes flickered, just for a moment. Then you know why we can't afford to be wrong again. I do, she said. But if you respond the same way now, the outcome will be worse. Rook didn't answer immediately. Your void weapon, Aaron continued. It's precise. Controlled. But if the Dominion commits fully, you'll have to escalate beyond containment. Rook's silence confirmed it. And when that happens, she said, there won't be anything left to protect. The words hung between them. Finally, Rook spoke. What are you proposing? Aaron exhaled slowly. Stand down your grid. Just enough to let me approach the system. Alone. Soren turned sharply. Commander. She raised a hand, silencing him. Rook's eyes narrowed. You want to enter without defenses? Yes, she said. No fleet. No weapons active. Just a single ship. And if this is a deception? He asked. You'll know, she replied. Your sensors are already inside our systems. You're watching everything. Rook didn't deny it. You let me through, she said, and I'll open a direct channel to High Command. I'll force a negotiation. And if they refuse? He asked. Aaron's voice steadied. Then I stay. Soren stared at her. You can't be serious. I am, she said. Rook studied her for a long moment. You're willing to become leverage. I'm willing to stop this, she said. Silence settled over the bridge. Finally, Rook nodded once. We'll open a corridor. One ship. No escorts. No active weapon systems. Any deviation, and we close it. Aaron inclined her head. Understood. The transmission ended. Soren stepped closer. Commander, this is insane. If they decide you're a threat. They won't, Aaron said. You don't know that, he insisted. Aaron looked at the void again. I know they had the chance to destroy us. They didn't. She turned back to the crew. Prepare the Resolute for independent transit. Power down all weapons. Full transparency on all systems. Soren hesitated. And the fleet? They'll follow orders, she said. At least for now. Outside, beyond the hull, the distortion field shifted. The dark shapes rearranged, opening a narrow path through the system, a corridor carved between unseen forces. An invitation. Or a test. Aaron straightened, her resolve hardening. The archive had shown what happened when fear dictated action. Entire civilizations had vanished because they mistook restraint for weakness. She would not make the same mistake. Set course, she said. The Resolute moved forward, alone, slipping into the corridor as the Dominion fleet gathered behind it, engines flaring, waiting for the moment to strike. Between them and the humans, the void remained. A reminder. And a promise.